Hey all, Bree from the No Guilt Mom podcast, and I have got a gift for you this holiday season. If you love the No Guilt Mom podcast, and I mean love the No Guilt Mom podcast, then tell us about it. Leave us a review, and you can be entered to win a No Guilt Mom gift card. All you have to do is leave a review, take a screenshot, and then simply go to noguiltmom.com/review to enter our giveaway for a free No Guilt Mom gift card, simply for telling us what you think about the podcast. It is amazing. But don't delay. Get right on this, as we're going to be giving away that No Guilt Mom gift card on December 21st. So get right on over and visit noguiltmom.com/review.
Welcome to the No Guilt Mom podcast. I am your host, Joanne Crone, joined here by my illustrious co-host, Bree Tucker.
Why, hello, everybody. How are you? Illustrious.
Illustrious. I feel like I've used that adjective before. And if anyone has a new adjective I can use to describe Bree, please let me know.
I know.
I am lacking in creativity.
Come visit any of our social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. Leave us some notes. Make a comment on the podcast, man. Just tell us some more adjectives. We need some more help.
Adjectives, yes.
I'm thinking colorful.
Colorful. I do like your purple hair.
Yes.
The ombre.
For those that haven't gotten to see me, I like colors. I was teal a couple of weeks ago, and now I'm back to purple again. Mm-hmm. I told somebody one day that you can always figure out my mood, because my hair is kind of like a mood ring.
Really?
It just changes.
So what does purple mean in terms of mood?
Purple to me means calm.
Oh, okay.
Teal means I'm feeling chaotic.
Oh, that's good to know.
Think back to every time you see me with teal hair in my life. Have I not been in a chaotic state?
Teal means chaotic. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. I don't have color associations like that. Usually it's if I've showered, I'm calm, and if I haven't, I'm not.
That's a good way to go. I wish it was. I don't know. I'm
showered 4 days of not showered. That's chaotic.
You're right. I would yes. After that, I would definitely be calm.
I feel like during Summit Week, it was like that.
It was like that.
I mean,
it was so much fun, but it was wow. The party never stopped.
Fun. The party did never stop. But I'm sure people who are listening, you've gotten that way too, where something has consumed your entire brain and you just have no room for anything else.
Oh, isn't that motherhood?
Yes. It is motherhood, because our kids consume our whole brain, and then it's where is us? Where are we?
And then all the other things that we have to do, right?
Yeah.
And then we feel like we are completely lost and unbalanced.
Yeah. I always feel like I'm a new person whenever I'm out without my kids, because it's a piece of my brain has freed up.
It is true. I mean, because you definitely have, when I am with my family, I have a million things running through my head at one time.
Yeah.
Everything from, what schedule's coming up, who's going where, did I get dinner ready? Do I have enough ingredients? What are we doing tomorrow? What's going on this weekend? Oh, did I sign that slip? A million things, right?
It never stops.
Right. But then when you go out with your friends, all you're thinking about is where are we going next?
Where are we going next?
Oh my gosh, I haven't seen Shayna in so long. What's going on with you? Right? That's all that pops in my brain.
It's so interesting. I was just perusing through Instagram yesterday, and there was this cartoon that came up, and it was a side-by-side cartoon. One was a mom seeing the last piece of fruit on the table, and one was the dad seeing the last piece of fruit on the table. And the mom looks at it and is like, "Oh, it's the last ripe peach. I bet my son would like this for breakfast tomorrow." And the dad looks at it and says, "Oh, it's the last ripe peach. I'm going to use this as a special treat in my smoothie." And I saw it and I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, those dads always thinking about themselves. That was the first instinct. And then I read the caption, and it said, "This is not so much about the dads wanting the peach. This is about moms never taking what they want."
Oh,
and
my
I'm
gosh.
oh my gosh, because I fell into that too. I was like,
That's so
this
true.
is the right way to do things. You leave it for other people. But then when I read that, I'm like, oh, I totally do that. I don't take things for myself. And we should.
Right? It's self-care, people. We need to have some self-care, because once we are burnt out and we break, there's nothing for anyone else.
There isn't. And it's so interesting that we've been conditioned this way, that we should always leave stuff to other people. But the rest of the world has not been conditioned this way. And so there's no one to take care of us.
Which is a really good point, because we actually have something here at No Guilt Mom that helps us take care of one another, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
See? Lead in.
You let it in really well. I wasn't even going that way, but it really does lead in really well, because something in No Guilt Mom that we try to do is, I think a lot of parenting stuff out there focuses on just mom's interaction with their kids. Like, that's it. And then we're led to this place of overwhelm and feeling like we're not doing things right and we're not enough because we're not reacting to our kids in this way, or we're not like helping them in their goals or letting them reach their full potential. But little is said about mom and like our state and what we need as humans.
Right, because you can't be the person you want to be, the happy person you want to be, or the mom you want to be, if you have nothing left in your cup.
You absolutely cannot. And I think that there needs to be a middle ground. Like, because you hear the other end of the spectrum with moms who like go out with their friends and they party and then they come home and they're like, I'm such a bad mom. I'm such a bad mom. I'm such a bad, like, and that's the narrative that we've been feeding ourselves. And there is no reason why you cannot be a great, like, fun person who hangs out with friends and be a great mom at the exact same time. And that is what No Guilt Mom is all about. We are finding that for you. And let's get into something that we actually did in the Happy Mom Summit, Brie.
I know. This was actually one of our most popular presentations that we had there, but it's because it's so simple and it breaks things down in a way that is so easy to understand.
It is the P.E.A.C.E process. It's how to be a more patient parent. And know as we go into this that coming in No Guilt Mom, we do not expect you to be patient in the absence of your own self-care. So it is going to be through that you're getting the self-care you need, as well as this skill. So we can't wait. So let's get on with the show. You want mom life to be easier. That's our goal too. Our mission is to raise more self-sufficient and independent kids, and we're going to have fun doing it. We're going to help you delegate and step back. Each episode will tackle strategies for positive discipline, making our kids more responsible and making our lives better in the process. Welcome to the No Guilt Mom podcast. So the P.E.A.C.E process, and oh my gosh, I love a good acronym.
Oh, I know. You're actually like, I have to say, like, we have talents between the two of us. Things that we are both really good at. And the acronym is your like superpower, girl.
I like
you
the acronym.
Like we'll be coming up with ideas for something. We'll be like, okay, so this is the general theme that we need to go for, and give you like, anywhere from 5 minutes to an hour, and you come up with a perfect acronym for things. And I'm like, how did you come up with that? And you're like,
I feel like it's been years of, especially in high school, like BSing English papers like the night before. Just that part of your brain is really, really good at doing things on the fly.
Man, I don't know. So again, like it's all about having that ability there. Man, you have got a gift.
But P.E.A.C.E, it stands for pause, ease, assumptions, chase the why, and exhale. And I'm going to explain each part of that process. And it's a way for you to get more peace in your life, more peace in your home, more peace around your kids.
Right. It's a definite way that can help you feel calmer. So like we're going to be giving you actual techniques to both understand what's going on with your kids, what's going on with you, and that will help you increase your patience on a pretty long-term scale.
Yes. So let's get into the first one. The first one is for pause. And pause doesn't mean like you're in the stressful situation, your kids are like melting down, and you're like, I'm going to pause. No, it doesn't work that way, Brie.
Oh, yeah, no. Oh, God, that reminds me of like this one music video I think Alanis Morissette had where she stood there and like all these people were just like running around her at like time-lapse speed. And I think that's what a lot of us, sorry guys, allergies are lovely this week. I think that's what a lot of people kind of
think of when you say pause, right?
Mhm.
They think that the chaos is going on and you're going to be able to stop and do a mindful meditation.
Yeah.
That is not what we're telling
That
you.
is not it. And also because you're probably in the habit of reacting in a situation. And so you can't just go and change that habit just immediately by saying like, oh, now instead of reacting and yelling, I'm going to pause. It doesn't work. Like it doesn't
No.
work. You're up against an
So
impossible
do
situation
not beat yourself up for that.
Do not beat
Do
yourself
not.
up. What pause means is after the fact. So say your child has just left all their stuff on the living room floor and you ask them to kindly pick it up and then they start yelling at you and saying that they don't have time and oh my gosh, they don't like this and they don't want to do this and then you lose it and you're like, you need to do this right now or else we're not going to school. And it just goes downhill from there.
Yeah. I call it angry mom.
Angry mom. And I mean, it
My house.
happens. It totally happens. So after it happens and you notice it, and usually we feel pretty bad about it after we lose it with our kids and the stress of everyday living. I mean, it is hard. My son is playing a game right now on his computer where he's a thief and the cops are after him. So I'm so excited about this new app, Give As We Grow, where instead of being the quote unquote bad guys, kids are practicing giving back.
That is so cool, Joanne. I really wish that there was something like this when my kids were younger that got them excited about giving back to others and helped them build a better understanding of what it really means to volunteer.
Give As We Grow is the first of its kind free educational mobile app for children ages 8 to 11 that teaches kids via fun, service-focused minigame quests to tap into their unique talents and interests to help others.
And did you know that studies show that there is a biological connection between generosity and happiness and that volunteering improves people's physical and mental health? I mean, kids who volunteer typically do better in school and are less likely to engage in risky behaviors. And that is something that I think we all want for our kids.
Ready to spark a new movement in generosity? Find and download Give As We Grow for free in the App Store for Android and iOS. And for resources for the whole family, visit giveaswegrow.org. This message is sponsored by Greenlight. It is so hard to raise kids who know how to manage money. Bree, right now, my kids are all about earning money for presents. My daughter wants to get presents for all of her friends, and my son is doing a Secret Santa with his friends.
Oh, I hear you. And if you're looking to raise kids that are financially responsible, we have got a lifesaver recommendation for you that you need to check out. It is Greenlight. Greenlight is a debit card and money app made for families that gives kids and teens an easy and fun way to gain financial literacy, all while giving parents peace of mind.
You can send instant money transfers, automate allowance, and even keep an eye on kids' spending with real-time notifications. Meanwhile, your kids can begin their journey towards financial autonomy by learning how to save, invest, and spend wisely.
So sign up for Greenlight today and get your first month free when you go to greenlight.com/NGM.
That's greenlight.com/NGM to try Greenlight for free. Greenlight.com/NGM. After it happens, you pause and you're going to go through a thing we like to call HALT. It stands for hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. And you're going to think about that situation and you're first going to give yourself some self-compassion. And you're going to go through this list of things that may have triggered you. So the first is H of HALT, hungry. Were you hungry? Hungry does stuff to me.
Oh, I know. Like, hungry is a hard one for me. It's a hard one for my daughter. In our house, actually, I have talked to my kids a lot about HALT because I'm kind of like slightly skipping ahead on this. I'm just going to tell you that my kids have full rights, and I have told them this, to question me anytime that I seem snappy, angry, or frustrated, and to ask me, Mom, are you? And then they can pick any of them that they want to. But normally, my daughter almost always is, are you hungry or are you tired? And like, I can tell you one time my daughter brought me to tears. I was like snapping and like super angry. Like everything she did, I was just like, that's wrong. Don't do this. Da, da, da. And she just finally looked at me and was like, Mom, are you hungry or tired? And I like stood there for a second and then I was like, I'm both. I'm just so hungry and tired.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we need that. We need that ability.
We need that. So ask yourself if you're hungry.
Hangry. Yeah.
Angry is the next one in HALT. So is something else outside of the situation upsetting you?
Right. How many times have you had something go wrong at work or anywhere? Like, but I'm going to say work because that seems like a big scenario. Or you had a fight with your spouse or something.
Or maybe it's family members.
Yeah. Or other family members. Right. And then it's time for you to spend one-on-one time with your kids. Like maybe you're driving them to school, whatever, and you are just crabby.
Yeah.
It's okay to be like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm just angry about something that happened earlier. And try to process.
But in this reflection process, this pause, you're going to look back and see like, okay, was I angry?
Right.
Another one is lonely. Have you had much connection with other people lately? Do you feel like you're stuck doing the same thing over and over again?
Yeah.
And if you're lonely, that's something to note.
Right. And I think too, sometimes when you're reflecting on the loneliness, that can also be a little bit of bitterness.
There's a lot of bitterness with
right.
lonely.
Like loneliness can bring in that sneaky bitterness of where you find that you're angry that your kids are getting to do something, or your spouse is getting to do something, or that even your maybe your sister or your best friend's getting to do something. And why can't I do that?
Because you don't feel like you have the permission to do it.
Yeah.
So lonely is a good thing to note as well. And then the final of halt is tired.
Yes. Yeah. That's a big one for me.
And I mean, sometimes you don't even realize how tired you are until you take this step to pause and ask yourself the question and be like, am I tired? Like, am I sluggish? Was it hard for me to wake up this morning? Do I need more rest?
Right. And you know what? And again, it's important to say this with this, guys. When you're going through this reflection, it is not time to beat yourself up. You don't say anything like, oh, I'm just so bad at getting to sleep on time. Like, no, just acknowledge it. Dude, I'm tired. Life happens.
Yeah, it's all about giving yourself that self-compassion. And what this pause does is the more often you do it after the fact, it's going to retrain your brain to realize more closer to the moment it's happening. So like after you do this and you're like, oh my gosh, I realize like I'm hungry. Like every time you do it, pretty soon your brain's going to realize before you snap, oh wait, am I hungry? Should I stop here?
Right. You'll start being more aware of it, that it's like it's coming, that you're getting to that point. But you got to take that pause.
So pause is so important. It's just the reflection, giving yourself self-compassion and trying to find out what your trigger might be.
So I want to talk about the next one. E stands for ease. And I think that one's a little bit harder for us to kind of understand what that is exactly means.
So ease really has to do with boundaries and how you can easily enforce your boundaries with like kids or with other people in your life. And a lot of times we do something that we feel we have to do out of obligation. And then after doing that out of obligation, we'll get really angry, we'll get upset, we'll feel like mentally really worn down. And so ease is about how well can you really stick to those boundaries with an easy way to do it. So one thing I like to use, we're both a big fan of this, is the when then with our kids.
This is huge. I think, and in case you're wondering when we're talking about this, it works with all age groups.
It works with everything. Like I think I pull when thens out like twice a day, 3 times a day, because it's one of those things where if you need something to be done, or if you expect your kids to have something done before you do something else, you can pull out a when then, and you don't have to deal with the power struggle. You don't have to deal with the fighting. It's just a simple statement of fact. So, for example, my socks in the living room, I don't know if anyone else has this problem, but oh my gosh, my kids go to the living room, they take off their socks and they leave them like in places in the living room. So like at the end of the week, there's like 5 pairs of socks, like not all together. It's like one here, one there, one there.
I'm surprised that Addie doesn't eat them, the dog.
No, she doesn't. I wish she did, because that would be some good natural consequence. They would just be like, oh, we're just not going to wear socks anymore, Mom. I'm like, great. So these socks in the living room, they really bother me. And my kids usually always want to do something in the evening, or they treat yourself is big in our house. It's always an ask for treat yourself, or going on a bike ride, or playing a video game with my son. All these things, there's always an opportunity because kids always ask for it. And so when then is great because I could pull in hey, like when the living room is clean, then we can play a video game. And I could do it smiley, and you could like play with your tone like that. I mean, you could do anything. Hey, when the dishwasher's unloaded, then we can go.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we do this in our house too. Like, I don't know about how many of you guys out there, and I am willing to bet there's a lot of you. I have a really hard time getting one of my kids to do the chores that they say that we've already gone through a whole other thing. We've talked about chores on other podcasts here, but there is 2 chores that my daughter has to do every week, and she does not like doing them. And we've given many, many different situations. And I have found that the when then has been the most effective.
Oh, yeah. When then is so good.
Right? Because in her case, she has something that she wants to do every Wednesday. She wants to go to youth group at church, which I'm totally down with. That's awesome. That's great. I'm glad you're wanting to go do that. But in order for you to get that ride to church, you need to do your chores here at home. And the first time, it was a showdown. The chores were not done. The ride did not appear. She really thought I was bluffing. Then the next week when it happened again, okay, yeah, great, no problem. When you get the chores done, then you get a ride.
But with the when then, you didn't have to fight her on it.
No,
It
there was
just a
no
simple
fighting.
Statement of fact.
Was she a little bit upset the first week that she didn't get to go? Yeah, but it was a short-term thing, and I repeat and very calmly just kept repeating back, like, was this something you agreed to? Yes. And then I told you that if you needed a ride from me to get to church, because it's, 10 miles away and we live in Phoenix, you need a ride. So you have to get your chores done that you agreed to do first. Anyways, my point being is that second week got done very quickly. And then every time since, like anytime that there's ever any question, I'm just like, when you get this done, then we do that. And it's been very effective. It really helps get rid of a lot of frustration on both of our ends.
Yeah. And
we're both more patient.
It's much more easier.
Yes.
Easier because you have the when then.
Yes.
So that's what ease is about. It's about how easy you can state your boundaries, and when then is a great tool to use to do that.
Hey, Aubrey here, and I wanted to share one of my favorite gifts to give during the holiday season, a Storyworth book. It is the most amazing gift ever. Storyworth is an online service that lets you create a special and unique gift of someone's story. I've given Storyworth books to both of my parents, and it has been their favorite gift, hands down. And did I mention it is so easy? Storyworth emailed my parents questions every week that I handpicked from their massive list of questions that they have. All my parents had to do was open their email and answer them. That easy. I asked my dad questions like, did you have any rules that you set for yourself as a parent, which you immediately broke? And he did. I even asked both of my parents, are you more like your mom or your dad? And they shared a lot of really amazing qualities that I didn't know about my grandparents at the time. Then at the end of the year, Storyworth compiles all of their answers, puts them into this gorgeous book that covers everything. My parents love showing us their books, and I personally love getting a chance to read them. With Storyworth, I am giving those I love a thoughtful and personal gift from the heart that preserves their memories and stories for years to come. Go to storyworth.com/NGM and save $10 on your first purchase. That's storyworth.com/NGM to save $10 on your first purchase.
We're hitting that time of year where my brain gets so overloaded in December that I look for anything to make life easier. And I have to say, Brie, that Green Chef is one of those services.
Yes, Green Chef is there to take away the dreaded, oh my goodness, what are we going to eat for dinner tonight? You can eat clean all holiday long with over 80 weekly meal options each week, featuring things like quick and easy, protein-packed, calorie-smart, or my personal favorite, the keto options.
And you don't have to lose track of healthy eating habits during the holidays because every Green Chef customer gets a free session with one of their registered dietitians who can walk you through how to make clean eating work for you, which is very cool.
And I have to say that I have been loving their recipes lately. They put things together I have never thought of. This week, we're trying the lemon basil caper pork with sauteed cauliflower, bell peppers, almonds, and feta cheese, my favorite. Their recipes make it so easy to support my wellness goals without skipping on flavor.
For Green Chef's best deal of the year, get $250 off with code NGM250 at greenchef.com/NGM250. That's greenchef.com/NGM250. And don't forget to use that code NGM250 to get $250 off.
Green Chef, the #1 meal kit for eating well.
All right, the next one, assumptions.
Assumptions. So assumptions are like the best thing I know of to keep your patience because a lot of us have this narrative going on in our heads about the reasons our kids act the way they do. Some of it is, oh my gosh, they're so lazy. I can't let them be this lazy, because then what happens when they get older and they're still lazy and like
they end up living in a van down by the river.
Living in a van down by the river.
Sometimes we know that's the route it goes.
And sometimes I think of my son and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be blamed by his future wife as not raising him correctly. Like that's the fear sometimes. Like the fear of judgment of other people comes in.
Yeah.
The fear that you are a failure as a mom comes in.
Oh, yeah.
All of those are really normal and they're very, very common. And a lot of them stem from assumptions behind behavior.
Right.
And so when we look at our assumptions and we ask ourselves, okay, are they really lazy? Am I just assuming they're lazy?
Well, I think a lot of us tend to naturally go straight to that because it's the most obvious reason there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of times too, again, like you just said, like we have this narrative in our head about what's going on. It reminds me of that meme that we see a lot out there where it's like, the wife and the husband are in bed together and like the wife's looking one direction, the husband's looking the other, and the wife's like, I bet he's thinking about like other girls or something, and he's over there like, you've had one about a sandwich. Like if a piece of bread falls on the earth on one side and a piece of bread falls on the earth on the other side, does the world become a sandwich?
I love that one.
But that's it. Like, again, like if they're not doing their chores, we're assuming that they don't care about getting things done in the house. They are lazy and they just want to do what they want to do.
They don't care about our feelings. That's a big assumption that comes in.
Right. And then like one big like mind blowing thing, we had an episode where we were talking with Katie Hurley about teens and anxiety. And she talked about this. This was like an offshoot about how her daughter wasn't making up her bed.
Yeah.
And she assumed that her daughter just didn't care. And then one day she asked her daughter, like, why aren't you doing it? Do you know how to make up your bed? Because Katie's like, come on, it's not, you pull up a cover, right? And her daughter's like, no, I don't. And that's why I'm not doing it. Boom.
Assumptions really play with our patience a lot. And
they do.
My rule is for myself is usually if it's fear-based, if I am thinking about something that I am fearful of happening in the future based on the behavior I see, it's pretty much guaranteed it's an assumption.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where we go into the next step of the P.E.A.C.E process. The C, which is called chase the why. And this phrasing comes from Dr. Daniel Siegel and Dr. Tina Payne Bryson's, all of their work, really. I've seen Chasing the Why and Whole Brain Child, as well as their other books. But this is really being a detective and finding out the reason behind your kid's behavior.
Yeah.
And we go into that a lot in Calm and Happy Parenting about how to do that and how to be the detective and what questions to ask.
Well, and we also follow through with that a lot. I mean, since you talk about common parenting, we follow through with that a lot in balance too.
Yes.
Because it's a skill that we all need to keep working on. Because first of all, old habits die hard. So assumptions are not easy to get rid of if you've been doing them for a long time. Second of all, we are humans.
Yes.
Our brains look for patterns and easy solutions. And sometimes it's a lot easier to go with the assumption than to chase the why.
Yes. And chasing the why, some possible things that could be going on when, say, like kids like refusing to do their chores. Some of them could be kids' own emotions. Like if they have halt going on, if they're hungry, angry, lonely, tired, that could be a reason they're pushing back.
Yeah.
If there are sensory issues at play where maybe the house is like really, really noisy and the child is very amped up and just more likely to respond in an explosive manner because of that.
Yeah.
If they are experiencing any anxiety or any stress, maybe from schoolwork, or especially with teens, homework and expectations.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a why to chase as well. There's a lot of reasons behind kids' behaviors that we don't give them credit for.
Right. And sometimes they don't even know. So like it's worth giving a vested interest in it. So like asking them like, hey, when they're not explosive in the moment, again, like talking about what's going on, what's having, is there something I can help you with?
And something we forget about as adults is that we see a chore that a kid needs to do, like say it's loading the dishwasher. And if it's not done, we as adults automatically jump to, oh my gosh, they're not keeping on top of their chores.
Right.
Like they're not contributing to the family. Whereas if we as adults, we had that chore and the dishwasher's not loaded, we will attribute it to all the other things going on in our lives. Oh my gosh, work is so busy right now. I am so tired. I can't like I can't do this chore right now. So usually those are our kids' reasons for not doing the chore as well, but we forget that.
Bingo. I think that is a huge thing to realize, that we often give ourselves, like, again, like you just said, as adults, we'll be like, oh, well, I had a lot to do at work, so it's understandable that I didn't get the chore done. And you know what? You're right. It is understandable.
It is understandable.
Totally fine. But like you just said, give that same grace of chasing the why to see if those are the same reasons for our kids.
And then the same things that we do as adults to get us to actually do the work, we can help our kids then learn those skills and how to push through.
Yeah, because unfortunately, they don't just like pop up out of nowhere.
Yeah. And then the last is exhale. We had to do that one. And this is just using a calming strategy for when you're stressed or angry or overwhelmed. And one of my favorite calming strategies is, especially when my kids are ticking me off, I like to talk through my anger out loud, because I'd be like, okay, I am really upset that I am getting yelled at right now. I'm going to take a deep breath. That didn't work. I'm going to take another deep breath. Okay, I'm feeling a little bit calmer now. I'm going to step away from the situation and go into the bathroom and try to see if alone time will help me calm down even more. And I'll say this out loud to my kids, and my kids will just be staring at me. They'll be like, oh my gosh, we broke mom. We broke her.
It is very, okay. So I have to say, first of all, that is something that we actually actively teach in early childhood for parents. Like the importance of our children seeing that we have emotions and seeing us go through self-regulation, calming techniques. Because first of all, children look at us and think that we have got our stuff all together.
Yeah.
If you only knew the glue that's holding things together sometimes. Like the things we have hidden behind the veil that our kids don't see. Like, oh, I can't let my kid know that I'm upset about this because they can't see me cry because it'll make them upset. Like, they need to see that big emotions happen and you can move through them. And like you just said, that was a great thing about talking through. And another great factor about that too, if you don't typically do this and you have kids that are like, over the age of like maybe 3, they're going to have that shock factor when you first do it. They're going to be like, whoa, wait, what? Like you said, like, did we break you?
Did we break you? And I say that as a joke, but I also say it because it helps me in the moment when I'm really angry, because I'm like, my kids are going to think they broke me. But it's actually for a good reason, because not only am I modeling my calm down strategy, as well as modeling that, hey, I get mad too, but they see me and they see the thought process going on as I talk myself down. So it only has benefits for them. And them also thinking that I've gone a little crazy is like that little, for me, that reminds me to do it in the moment because I'm angry.
Right. So these are huge things. So like you said, like talking about HALT, checking in on are you hungry, angry, lonely, tired, talking through things, taking deep breaths. I know for me, when I am super angry, I will say to my kids, I am really upset now. I need to go for a walk. And that's the point where my kids are like, oh, we broke mom. But like, if I go for a walk, like I need that physical like impact of like stepping on the pavement hard to get myself through it sometimes. And it's okay. It's okay.
It is better than okay, because you are showing how you step out of the situation before you lose it with people.
Right.
And if more adults had that skill, the world would be a happier place.
True that.
Yeah. So that is peace. It is pause, ease, assumptions, chasing the why, and exhale. So we're gonna wrap this up now, Brie.
I know. So if you enjoyed this episode and you decide to try some of these peace techniques, let us know. Drop us a review on the podcast. Send us an email at hello@noguiltmom.com. Let us know how this worked for you.
And we can assure you that, the best mom is a happy mom. So you do come first, mama. You do come first. And there is a middle ground where you could be a happy person and be a great mom. And we're here to help you with that.
Yep.
So until next time, the best mom is a happy mom. Take care of you.
Thanks for stopping by. Are you looking for something to listen to with your whole family? Then check out 6 Minutes,
Produced and created by Gen Z Media. With over 200 twisty, cliffhanger-filled episodes, 6 Minutes tells the story of 11-year-old Holiday who is pulled from the icy waters with no memory of who she is or where she came from.
3 years ago, Brinley Pasternak helped the Anders family uncover the truth about Holiday's past. Now she'll need them to help her find the truth about hers. In 6 Minutes Out of Time, the long-awaited sequel, Cyrus Anders is found unconscious near the mysterious Elixir Academy in Florida, and Brinley learns the school may have a shocking connection to her missing mother.
Dive in now and get the most downloaded family audio adventure in history. Follow 6 Minutes wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen early and ad-free with the GZM family subscription.